You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 8th day of January, 2026. Thanks for joining us, wherever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here. Two broadcasts, live broadcast, every trading day. The first one's our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking your 1 week trial. If you have not yet taken your 1 week trial, Michael joins us in about an hour. He'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It's going to take you about 3 minutes to get signed up. Your indicators up and indicating today. The trial will officially start tomorrow, which is a Friday. Don't worry, weekends do not count against your trial. 5 consecutive trading days. That means your trial will run all the way through this Thursday. So stick around, top of the hour. He'll walk you through step by step, and we'll have your indicators up and indicating. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break and then come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth, internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. Email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email. It'll automatically log you into our platform. Benefit there is you'll have access to the question box. So you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. Do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is very easy to remember. youtube.com/CFR. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFR. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, We also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived, educational, and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it is a great way to get to know. Thanks to the power of YouTube, scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day by day. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it's a great asset to have at your fingertips. And again, it does allow you to see how we've evolved from again now, day by day. YouTube.com/CF. On the left side of the screen is our daily schedule. So we'll get started with our daily devotional as we do each day. The topic that we're on right now is the power of God's blessing. Today's scripture, Psalm 103. Now I'm going to give you just the first verse, and then we're going to break down some of the other verses in Psalm 103. Psalm 103:1 says, "Praise the Lord, my soul, all my inmost being. Praise his holy name." Psalm 103, God is praised for who he is and what he gives. Praising here means blessing. Many English translations render it as bless the Lord. God is being praised because he gives sin and redeems people. That's in verse 3 and 4, Psalm 103. God is being praised because he provides for the daily needs of his children. Verse 5. God is being praised because he's compassionate, gracious, and loving. Verses 6 through 12. Cares for his children as a father would. Verse 13. Knows that we are fragile and vulnerable. Verses 14 and 16. Is faithful to his promises. Verses 17 and 18. Has all power as creator, king of heaven. Verse 19. Psalm 103 is a powerful reminder of God's grace and love. All creatures in heaven and on earth are exhorted to honor this God. Verses 20 through 22. Despite our weaknesses and shortcomings, constantly surrounded by his faithfulness and grace. Facing many difficulties in your life, sometimes seem impossible. Find the words to praise God. Psalm 103 is a strong reminder God is. Never forsake his children. The last verse, the psalmist says to himself, "Praise the Lord, my soul." 2. So what about you? What words will you use to bless God today? Whatever they are, I encourage you to say them often, say them out loud. Let's pray. Bless the Lord, my soul, and all that is within me. Bless your holy name. Thank you, Lord, for mercy, forgiveness, steadfast love. Heal, redeem, and crown us with compassion. Help us remember your goodness all our days and live in gratitude. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said, Amen. And speaking of Thursday, that means tonight is our shop. This will be the first one in a couple weeks because Christmas, then we had New Year's. So tonight, members, 8 p.m. Eastern, please have your questions ready. And you can send them in ahead of time via email or Telegram. And especially if you're not going to be able to attend live, if you send in questions ahead of time, we will cover those first so that when you Telegram channel to listen or to watch the members only workshop, it'll be pretty close to the front. All right, let me give you the numbers from start here at US with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow is up 287 points. NASDAQ is down 100. S&P 500 is down just over 1 point. Basically unchanged on the session. And the Russell 2000 up just shy of 1%. Commodity basket. Oil is up $1.07. 57.07 last. That's a gain of almost 2%. Gold up $10.50. Trading 44.73 last. Silver down $1.60. 76.01 last. That's a drop of a little over 2%. Asian markets at the close. Nikkei dropped 804 points. It's well over 1.5%. Shanghai dropped almost 3 points. Hang Seng fell 309, which is almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 3, the DAX up 3, CAC up 9. Wow, that's really quiet. So we had a red day in Asia, mixed day for the UK, and at the moment, it's a mixed Radio Thursday here in the US of A. Got two of the major indices green, Dow and the Russell. Russell solidly in the green %. S&P barely in the red. NQ down 0.5 percentage point. Take a look at the news. U.S. military said it had seized 2 Venezuelan-linked oil tankers yesterday, including a Russian-flagged ship it pursued for more than 2 weeks. Ship formerly called the Bella One was working to evade the U.S. Coast Guard in the northern Atlantic Ocean weeks after allegedly seeking to dock in Venezuela. December 24th, the ship received approval from the Kremlin to reflag under Russia and has since changed its name to the Marinera. It was accompanied by Russian naval vessels and a submarine. Seized between the British Isles and Iceland, support from the UK military. Second tanker, Cameroonian flag Sophia, seized after allegedly leaving a Venezuelan. The U.S. seized 2 other tankers, Centuries and the Skipper, last month. The latest incidents come after President Donald Trump said the U.S. will take possession of 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil from Venezuela, up to 15% of the country's annual production. And I guess I buried the lead on this one. Tragedy yesterday in Minnesota. It's just so unavoidable. So tragic. But all knew it was going to happen eventually. May not like the law, may not agree with the law, but you gotta obey the law. So, I mean, my heart breaks for the family, friends. This woman was tragically shot yesterday. It's a horrible thing. Loss of a life. Hundreds of protesters have gathered in Minneapolis after an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer killed a 37-year-old citizen. Now, the ICE officer was supposed to be there. The other person was there by choice. And I'm not trying to negate the loss of human life. It's horrible. Never ever promote violence of any kind on this broadcast or any broadcast. It's just not how we believe. Department of Homeland Security says agents believe the woman, identified as Renee Nicole Wood, was attempting to weaponize her vehicle to kill federal officers. Mayor Jacob Frey disputes the account and accuses the ICE agent of recklessly using power, resulting in the woman's death. Footage shows federal agents approaching a vehicle that had been partially blocking a street and attempting to have the driver exit her vehicle. The car pulls forward and begins to turn before an agent fired at least 2 shots, according to the police. The car then crashed on the side of the roadway. In 2000, federal personnel were deployed to Minneapolis this week as part of a surge following allegations of fraud in the state's daycare facilities and other federally. So, again, in no way justifying this woman's death or of any kind of violence whatsoever. But this mayor loves to drop the F-bomb. Had he instructed his police officers, the governor had sent his state troops, cordon off the area, block the area where federal agents were working, then no civilian would have been harmed, because they would not have been able to get into that area and put the lives of federal agents at risk. So this is going to become quite the political hot potato. And I also pray for officer that's involved and for his family. They're going to, yes, he's still alive and she isn't. Both families are going to suffer, and it's just a tragedy that did not have to happen. Sorry that it. Lawyers announced 35,553 layoffs in December, lowest monthly total since July of 2024. Despite sweeping job cuts in the fourth quarter, according to a Thursday order today, global outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas. Year closed with the fewest announced layoff plans all year. While December is typically slow, this coupled with higher hiring plans is a positive sign after a high job cutting plans. Still, the picture was more dire when looking at 2025 in total. Planned hires were down 30% from. Employers announced 1.2 million job cuts across all of 25, a 58% hike from 2024's 761,000. Now keep in mind, a lot of those are not obviously non-essential government. This year's cuts were led by government reductions after DOGE-led layoffs cut federal workers loose. Layoffs in the tech sector and business services sector were also higher last year compared to 2020. U.S. trade deficit contracted sharply in October, hitting the lowest level since mid-2009. Now, headlines call this a surprise. Why is it a surprise? Tariffs. I mean, isn't the whole thing the idea to have balanced trade? So why they're surprised, I don't know. Anyway, U.S. trade deficit contracted sharply in October, hitting the lowest level since mid-2009 as imports declined. A trend that, if sustained, could see trade again adding to economic growth. Trade gap narrowed 39% to $29.4 billion, lowest level since June of 2009, according to the Commerce Department's Bureau of Economic Analysis and Census Bureau. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast the trade deficit rising to $8.9 billion. The report was delayed because of the 40-day shutdown of the government. Imports decreased 2%, $131.4 billion. Goods imports tumbled 4.5% to $255 billion. This level since June of 2020. Decline in imports could be a result of President Donald Trump's sweeping. The drop also suggests softening domestic demand, or perhaps people making it in America for Americans. Americans are buying. Novel thought. Reuters, and this is huge. A forthcoming U.S. Supreme Court decision on these tariffs that we're just speaking about could really jolt the financial markets if the justices strike down the tariffs. case, which could come as early as tomorrow, set to determine whether Trump can invoke the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose tariffs without congressional approval. During November arguments, the justices signaled skepticism about Trump's authority to impose the tariffs. Online betting markets now give a 30% chance the court will tariffs. So, this is just a tragedy. Here we have a president that actually takes control, doesn't just make a bunch of empty promises, does what he says he's going to do. Money starts pouring into the company. Trade balance starts to look like it should. If we only had a Federal Reserve chairman get off his backside and lower the rates, and I don't mean, a quarter, but just drop it a point, drop it 2 points, really kickstart the economy. Because we just came out of an administration, we spent 4 years where inflation hit its highest peak in, but anyway, the fact that these online betting markets are only giving a 30% chance the court will tariffs. Now, Trump says, of course, he has other ways of taking care of this and doing this. We'll see what happens. We may hear something from SCOTUS. I don't know why the markets are selling off. It's a large part. The unknown. U.S. officials are rushing to come up with options for business deals and other ways to step up links to Greenland. Taken by surprise by President Trump's renewed demand to take over the island. Here with them. Trump has long wanted the territory for what he says are security reasons. But after a flurry of activity on the issue early last year, including a trip there by Vice President Vance, wants urgent efforts to realize the president's visions, back burner. Yeah, there were some other things that needed to be. Of course, all these people with all these comments don't want to be But his sudden flurry of public comments about taking Greenland in the days following the U.S. operation to capture former Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro on January 3rd has made the issue a top priority. Tuesday, the White House said it wouldn't rule out military action, while European leaders issued an unprecedented warning to dissuade Washington trying to seize territory from a NATO ally. At the moment, U.S. officials are focused on potential business deals to give the U.S. a greater footprint on the island to people to the process. Those include rare earth minerals, mining projects, as well as hydroelectric power and other ventures. But these projects likely aren't far enough along to satisfy Trump's desire for dramatic results. Now, this isn't just about owning some real estate. This is about our national security. Look at a map. And Representative Mary Miller saw President Donald Trump's announcement of plans to ban large investors from buying single-family homes. She immediately volunteered to introduce a bill to codify it. Now, we started talking about this a couple years ago on this broadcast. Entire housing developments were being created, neighborhoods, master plan communities, whatever you want to call it, with no intention of ever selling the homes being built it out. Not something we've seen in past history. This is a new development over the last few years. It's been an issue with the family caucus, and I'm thrilled to see President Trump's tweet and that he's making this a priority. Miller expects Trump to sign an executive order banning large investors from buying single-family homes, and then her bill will codify that policy to law. It's all about trying to make housing affordable. When you have these corporate giants buying up all the existing supply of homes as fast as they're built, no one's ever going to be able to afford. It's part of the last time I looked. All right, let's move along. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not a lot of alerts this week. Market structure just didn't support it. I don't put the alerts out to entertain anyone. The purpose is to help you learn how to read a chart. It's a teaching tool. And when the market structure doesn't support it, what's the point in putting out an alert that's not tied to market structure if what you're trying to teach is market structure? So, but anyway, I did put some out today. Take them with a grain of salt. People were going, where's the alerts? Where's the alerts? So anyway, I put some alerts out. Just careful out there. Okay. Currently in week 388 of Logic 247. Over the last 388 weeks, we issued over 21,300 individual handcrafted alerts. Averaged on a weekly basis, it's 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Since the markets opened Sunday night, she issued a total of 27 alerts at the time she did the recap. Put some out this morning. Caveat. Time of the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 10. I gave us 17 actionable alerts. 4 or 24% stopped out. Again, based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, every logical alert has an entry price, long or short, initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and in most cases, additional targets, and then a two target. Again, the purpose of the alerts is to help you how to read a chart. The goal is to trade for a living. You need to be able to read a chart. I know everyone in our audience can read a book, newspaper, a magazine. It's on your computer screen. But when it comes to charts, that's a different story. Sentences, paragraphs. So you're literally learning a new language, nonverbal language. If you'll do the work, if you'll take the time, draw the horizontal line. If you never trade a logic alert, that's fine. Use them as intended will help you learn how to read a chart, how to know where to anticipate resistance, how to anticipate support, and most importantly, it will tell you when it's probably not a good idea to trade at this juncture. Now, 388 weeks, that's a time. It's a little over 7 years. But long before I had Logic 247 at our original alert service, Surge, and they're different in a lot of different ways. So this discussion, just say, unlike the logic alerts, which can come out anytime around the clock, futures trade around the clock, globe, CTAs don't come out around, published as a static report shortly before the Globex open each evening. So this Thursday session that we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 5 minutes before the markets opened, all of our traders had all of these targets. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, oil, NQ, silver. So as we go through the individual markets and you see these targets drawn out on the chart, just keep in mind that all of our traders and even trial members had the targets 5 minutes. Now we'll go chart, daily chart, S&P 500, Emini futures. Now, of the BBC, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC, just stands for bull cross. Price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. And as I said, price always reverts to the mean, and as you can see, the pullback holds more often than not. Recently rolled contracts, so it's difficult to see what I was showing you a month ago, but it's still there if you put it on continuous contract. So where we sit right now, yesterday, we had a strong run yesterday. I mean, this was a green candle right up to here, this broadcast, okay? And look at how close we came to the all-time historic yesterday's high, 7,675. 69.67. Talked about the potential, that very thing to happen. At the time we were talking about it, we pointed out that climbing was potential support, that, like step line, potential support. Then, of course, the 38% fib extension and the daily BBC. So, well off the low of the session. Looks like the market's trying to recover. Got some big news tomorrow, some econ news, and of course, the Supreme Court may give us a decision on the tariffs. If tariffs get whacked, say look out. Create a lot of stress on Wall Street. Now, yesterday during the broadcast, it looked like very well might put in a new all-time historic high, but into the close, see exactly what happened right there. Closed, hit Climbing, which, as I said, was potential support. It'll bounce off of that. Opened last night, 6 p.m. Eastern. Got a drop. Didn't quite make it to the 38% fib extension. Now we've bounced back almost to the high of the session. Back to where we last night. Last night at 67.5. So we're there. It's a candle. Then next major obstacle to overcome would be the percent extension. Yesterday's high. After that, it's the all-time historic high. Now, all alerts dated on the 30 chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. Just the time frame I chose years ago. And they say if it's not broke, leave. It's kind of what the vertical lines that you see separates today Thursday, here's Wednesday, here's Tuesday. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones published for our members every week, a little over 16, December 14th last year. That was the 16-year anniversary. Price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance till proven. Now the weekly zones are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. This was the opening candle last night, and again, all members and trial members had these targets 5 minutes. This candle. Now this was an unusual move. The step line crossed red and falling. The market was so heavy we didn't get the pullback to the BBC that we expect. Step line crosses red and falling or blue and climbing. Almost always see a retracement back to the BBC. Again, it was a heavy market. It's down right after midnight at 12:30 Eastern. Finally hit the short target and then supported the zone. This is Thursday, this is Wednesday, this is Tuesday. Monday we found supported the zone, on Tuesday supported the zone, and now again on Thursday supported the zone. See, the market is, as we talked, trying to get back to the high of the session, which is right just below that weekly zone, 69.71/72. Market finds support. Always going to go look for resistance, which it found at the BBC. Back holds more often. Leg and a retracement. Leg and a retracement. Then we hit blue and climbing, which is bullish. It's always potential support. And in this case, it's up above the BBC. Then here, this was the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street. And depending upon how long you've been looking at charts, how long you've been studying the way price flows, This is not leg and a retracement. Bounce in that same 30-minute candle. Huge bounce. And you get slammed back down to the BBC, but the back held. And on this candle here, we even reached through the BBC and tagged short target again. Get it over here and here. But looks like institutional buyers really want to get back up to this area here, 71/72. That's not the highest weekly trading zone. There's still one more dead. Way up there, 7090/91. So depending upon this econ news tomorrow, an awful big day, but you got to embrace all possibilities. And 320, that's not, depends on, a lot of it depends on where we close today. Now, if we get through the zone right here, you got a bearish cross. Red line gets below the green line. You have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area, must always be good resistance. This area right here, C981. If price were to manage to get back up there today, tomorrow, Sunday night, or whenever, that should be good resistance. Okay. On the Dow, this is where we opened last night. As you can see, yesterday we found resistance at the highest weekly zone this week. Remember, once the zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Change. So we went from zone. We opened here last night. BC. Step line crossed, but we didn't get the pullback. Highly unusual. So price continued to fall. Traded through the short target, consolidated a little bit. Then zone is 48,980/985. Low. 9,000. Zone again is 48,980/985. So it came really close. Didn't quite get there. Now right here, this is the 9:30 open candle on Wall Street. Different than we saw on the ES. This long target. It's based off this high right here. You got another area right above it, potential resistance, where you got the cross that led to the extended move. The black step line. On the way up, see how these two are running parallel to each other? Now the black step line is leaning to the right. Step line crosses, climbing. Must always get a retracement back to the BBC. Now, I pointed out a couple of cases already where that didn't happen. And again, that just goes back to what I said at the beginning of the broadcast, that the market structure this week has been abnormal, for lack of a better term. The first full week of a new year is always suspect. Some would just say, well, it's just been incredible. Well, yeah, if you stand way back and just, look at the big picture, it looks pretty simple, but when you get under the hood, it's not quite that simple. So, you got price trying to hit that long target. Consolidated really sideways these last three candles. The step line is trying to cross blue and climbing. Manages to pull it off, look for retracement back to the BBC. Now the pullback holds more often than not. in the event All right, let's look at the Russell. Now, the Russell's on fire. I gave you the numbers from around the world. Russell was one of the, Russell and the Dow were the two. This was the open last night. We were right at the highest weekly trading zone. Dropped below the VC. We got a leg and a retracement and a leg. We hit that short target. Consolidated. Dropped even further. Double bottom here based off this low from yesterday. Structure right. In this move, you should be expecting support here until proven otherwise. Did get the support. Did bounce us up to the BBC and the underside of the short target. Resistance ×2. And from there, got a leg. Didn't take out this double bottom. This is the 9:30 open candle on Wall Street. It's probably one of the biggest Russell 30-minute candles. One of the biggest I've ever seen, I think. It's huge. But price is still climbing. Now the step line's leaning to the right. This is the highest weekly. We're already above the highest weekly zone. So this may be one of those rates where we actually close above the highest or weekly zone. Russell's high of the session. That thing is higher. And again, when the markets are mixed, we've got some of the indexes in the red and some in the green. It's like a tug of war, and it makes for difficult. If you've struggled in your trading this week, don't feel bad. Market conditions just exactly what we want. Here's the open last night on the NQ. Dropped short target. And then we consolidated for a couple hours, and then we continued dropping to the weekly zone support. Sent us back to the BBC resistance. And we found support climbing, and then more consolidation at the short target. Drop. Leg, a retracement. This is a red candle, but closed back at the zone. So 1, 2, this is the third candle trying to make it back through the zone. Support over here. Resistance over here. And of course, we expect resistance at the BBC. Price trades through BBC, then resistance here. Cross. Sure, we opened last night. Got below the BBC. Leg and a retracement and a leg that took us down to the weekly trading zone. We didn't to the short target. Red and falling turned blue and climbing. Made a beeline right through that zone, right to the target. Consolidated there for a bit. And right here on this candle, took out this high from yesterday. Just a little bit. We're always suspicious of just a little bit. Look where it closed. Get back down here. Okay. All the way back to this zone. 5675/5680. Now it's trying to work its way up to the zone overhead at 5740/. This looks like a transition. Looks like the market's trying to make a bigger picture turn. I've cautioned about the potential for lower prices on a. See, yesterday, once we got to this point, right there, see where you got the wick sticking down, the wick sticking up, crosshair right in the middle, marked the high for yesterday. We got below the zone, support, and we got resistance coming up right overhead, potential resistance at the zone. This is unusual too. See, red and falling just turned back to blue and climbing, right? Everywhere I look, I see things. So what do? Well, you can do one of two things. You can just wait it out, things to get back to normal, or whatever you're going to do. Gold opened right here last night, and quick drop to the short target. Got there by midnight. Support sends us to resistance, sends us back to support, back to resistance, back to support. And now, left, see that there's potential resistance right here. Already hit this resistance right here. Resistance here, here, and up here is the bearish cross. That's what it's done. Spent a lot of time consolidating at the short target. Don't know if we're going to make it to the long target because, as you can see, the black step line is already starting to lean to the right as it crosses blue and climbing. Typically see retracement back to the BBC and to the weekly trading zone 9/44. Last is silver. So we opened last night. Just went sideways. We're above the BBC, below. Dropped, hit the short target, kept going. Got to this zone, consolidated. Once again, we had a step line cross red and falling, but we didn't get the retracement to the BBC. Markets were very heavy. And that puts silver way down here. This zone, 74.11/12. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Actually traded through. See, we've got on top of the weekly zone. However, these wicks sticking up here, kind of bearish. And again, the step line, it's already starting to right. So if we continue higher, underside of the short target could become resistance. Right here where the cross is, if we get back into that area, that's potential resistance as well. And so on the daily, we now have energy, which represents indecision. Market has traveled quite a bit. Just off the high of the session right now, just below that 50% fib extension. Michael should be here in a second. To become a member, email Valerie support@cfrn.net. Let her know you want to become a member. She'll send you all the information you need signed up. Once you become an official member, a passport holder. 2 hours of live training every trade. It's an interactive environment. Trades in real time, asking questions, trading along in your demo account so that you can learn strategy, indicators, Along with the 2 hours of live training every trading day, also get private 101 extra charge. You just got to ask. Strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder, all markets and all. Okay, Michael's here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Live trading as time permits. I'll come back, finish what I was doing, wrap things up with our.
All right. Should be looking at my charts.
Yeah.
Or my
Yep.
screen anyway.
Looks good.
All right, here we go. Let me have one more drink before we get going. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 8th day of January 2026. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingq.com, click on the purple button right there. There's no credit card required for this trial. Just click on that. It's going to bring you to this page. This one. Where it's loading up. It says it is. Okay, well, it's going to bring you to this page. And on this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. That took a long time. Your name, your email, and your phone number. And down at the bottom, give us your TradingView login ID. All right. That's all we need to get your indicators indicating for you to get you in the morning. Now, we had a pretty good day today. Overall, the numbers look good, but it took us 50 trades in 15 minutes this morning to get the goal for the day, which is a lot. It's almost double what we've taken the last 3 days combined. The overall results were good, but we did have, early on we had more stop outs than we would like to have, and we had to recover from that. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Let's see. Today on the NQ, we're up 229 ticks. Now that was not the high of the day on the NQ. The high of the day was 250. On the YM, we were at minus 21 ticks, and that was not the low of the day on the YM. The low was actually minus 43 ticks. The high of the day on the YM was 0, and the low of the day was minus 43. Gold, we're at 52, and that was the high of the day on gold. The ES were at minus 13, and that was not the low of the day on the ES. The low of the day on the ES was minus 19, and the high of the day on the ES was 0. So we were never positive on the ES. We were never positive on the YM. Though we did get back some from where our worst part of the day was. It was a challenge today. If I don't know, there were a couple of times where I had a couple of stop outs in a row. I was never negative on the day, I don't think. Actually, I was negative on the day right at the beginning. Right at the beginning, I was negative. But after the first 15 minutes, I wasn't negative. Once I got the goal for the day, I was positive the rest of the session. But I did start out negative. I believe I was down 15 on the YM. I was down 25 on the NQ at one point, and I was up 1 on gold. So I was down a total of 40 something ticks there. And then I got back a little bit on the NQ, and I picked up 1 or 2 more ticks on the gold, and then I had a 45 tick trade on the NQ, and that got me back into the positive, just enough to get the goal for the day, 105 per contract. But anyway, on the month now, we're at $4,725 total with 1 contract, averaging $1,181 a day. Now, last year, $1,200 is what I was going for. I think that's a good goal to have. If I can average $1,200 a day, that is a good goal to have. Now, my goal for the day is to make 100 minimum, but I'd like to average 1,200. And we'll see. That seemed like a good goal to have last year, and we're right there at the end of the year. So it's doable. And yeah. So on the year now, the monthly and the yearly right now are the same thing, but the 24/20 blueprint, because we took so long this morning getting the goal, we're at now just about a half hour in total total time getting the goal over the 4 days, and we've made $505. So that brings our average hourly rate to $1,165. Now, yesterday, that average hourly rate was, I believe it was 2,000, I think 2,000 something, but it is what it is. Yesterday, we got back up to 1,125 after stopping out a little bit in the session yesterday. We got back up to 1,125. So we'll see what we get today. All right. Now I had a bunch of trades. The majority of them are on the NQ. The other ones are almost equal across number of trades. So I'll just buzz through these really quick so we have some good trading time, hopefully. Okay. We hit control and back. We'll get us all the way back here. Okay, here we are. Our first trade here on the gold, we picked up one tick, then another tick, then another tick. So at that point, we're at +3. Then finally, we had a big trade. We had 30 ticks right there. That got us to 33. Then one tick to 34. Then 3 ticks to 37. Then 8 ticks to 45. I didn't notice. I didn't stop out all day on gold. Then 5 ticks to 50 and 2 ticks on this one to get me to 52. Now this one I have it as light blue because it wasn't actually even a trade. It wasn't flat on the bar before and it didn't come out of the overbought. I don't know why I ended up taking the trade, but I did. Okay, and that was it. I'm going to skip what happened during the break because there's a whole bunch of trades to go through on the NQ. All right, so the YM. Now we're never positive on the YM. Go back to the beginning of this and all the way back to the beginning of this. Here we are. Okay. Started out with a stop out, -15. Then another stop out put us at -30. Then we finally had a positive trade. I think that was 2 ticks, right? Put us to -28. Then another stop out to -43. Then we had a positive trade. That was our big trade right there. Got us down to -32. We had 10 ticks on that one to -32. And this one here, I don't know what happened on this. I think I left an order on over here. But we went from -32 to -31. We ended up picking up 1 tick there. And this was a valid trade. We got 10 ticks on that to get us to -21 on the YM. And that was, I guess we had one more trade in there. Huh, I wonder what that one was. It was probably a very small one. And that was all we did on the YM. Okay. Now, it looks like there was some pretty good action during the break, but I don't know if it was producing any trades. I want to just get to the NQ right now, so let me keep going here. This is the ES. Now, once again, we didn't have a ton of trades on the ES. This is just about all of them right there, almost in one screen. Okay, our first trade on the ES was a break even. Our second trade on the ES was a break even. Our third trade on the ES was a stop out. Our fourth trade on the ES was another stop out. So at this point, we're at -20. Then we went -20. We had a +1 tick to -19. Then a +8 to get us to -11. Then another +8 to get us to -3. And then another stop out to put us down to -13. Now this one here didn't come out of the oversold. That's why that one's a light blue. That was the mistake I made on that one. All right. During the break, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of trades there during the break. Right, not right there. That was the ES. Now the NQ. Let's go back to the beginning on the NQ. We have a ton of trades on the NQ, over 20. I think we had 25 trades. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, we had 25 trades on the NQ. So let's go all the way back to the beginning on this guy. And we did have some stop outs on the NQ. I think we had 2 or 3 on the NQ. All right. The very first one. Looks like on the NQ was a stop out. Right there, we're -25 on that trade. Then we picked up 4 ticks there to -21. Then 4 more ticks to -17. Then 4 more to -13. Then we had a nice big win right there, 45 ticks, and that got us to +32. That's where we got the gold for the day on that trade right there. And Then we went from 32 up to 36. There were a lot of 4-tick trades today because my stop bumps to four ticks after 10 ticks in profit. So we went 32 to 36, 36 to 40, 40 to, actually that was a big one, from 40 to 54. I think it would have been that one. Then we went 54 to 99. I think that was it right there, the 54 to 99 on that one. And that's a light blue because it wasn't off the midpoint exactly. It was 1 tick off the midpoint, 1 tick away from the midpoint. That's why it's light blue. And then we stopped out. We got up to 90, stopped out, went down to 74. That was our second stop out on the EQ. And from 74 to 78, then 78 to 82. All these 4-tick trades coming in. 82 to 86, 86 to 90. This was a big one though. 90 to 135 on this, either this one or this one, 90 to 135. Then 135 to 139, 139 to 143, 143 to 147, 147 to 151, 151 to 155. So we had a whole bunch of 4-tick trades. And then we had a pretty big trade. We went from 155 up to 169. I don't know which one of these that was. I find my next stop out. 155 to 169 and 169 to 181. 181 to 185. 185 to 193. 193 to 217. These are all trades that I took in here. Where's my next stop out on this? Here it is right here. So from 217 to 250. That was a big one right there. That's probably that. Nope, this was it, right? 217 to 250, because then we stopped out on this one. Went from 250 down to 225, and then 225 to 229. So that was another 4-tick trade right there. So there were a bunch of trades on the NQ with 3 stop outs, I think, total. Anyway, that's what we did. I'm not going to go through everything during the break, so we still have some time to trade in here. Okay, because I don't know what the market's going to be like. Now, I was saying all morning this 2,700 number. 25,700 is going to be an area that price is going to have a hard time with, and I thought we were going to get rejected by it. And I was saying that before we ever got to it this morning. I was saying when we get to that number, I think we're going to get rejected by that number. And you can see it's been rejected by that number again and again and again. And the reason I said that, I just crunched it up like this. I crunched it up like this. I think it was like this. Oh, it was easier to see on the 5-minute. Let me go to a 5-minute. Actually drew it with the fib thing on the 5-minute. You can see this leg length down. This is the pullback area right here. 25,700 right here. So it was this morning that I was saying that. I was saying before we hit this number here, I said this number here is where I think I'm going to find some resistance. And I'll push this down from there. But the other thing that I said this morning is now you can see it even more. We hit it, we got rejected by it, but we didn't put in a lower swing. So now we've hit it again and we got rejected by it again, not a lower swing. So what we're in right here is this. Okay, that's what we're in right now. So it's going to come to decision time here pretty soon. And with all the high impact news that we have coming out, I've been saying since the beginning of December that I think we're going to hit 7,000, and we didn't hit it until yesterday. I thought we were going to hit it a week ago, but we hit it yesterday. And the options that I had suggested, they expired tomorrow. And they were on the SPY 695s. They were in the money at one point, but they're not right now. So what it needs to do tomorrow, the SPY needs to get up above 695 to be in the money again. And then it really needs to get up to 698 to be able to make some money on those, because they were about $3, I think, when I got them. So that is what I was looking at with that. I mean, by the end of the day today, what I think it was doing was building in the news that's coming out tomorrow, because we have 3 high impact news events coming out in the pre-market that are the highest news events of the month. I think the highest impact news events of the month. They're all coming out in the morning in the pre-market. All right. So that's
Supreme
all that.
Court may also rule tomorrow on the whole tariff thing.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
And odds makers on Wall Street say there's only a 3% chance.
Well,
Not good news.
no, that's not good news, considering the country's making trillions of dollars of money that it should be making. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, that could be the thing that triggers the market. If they're thinking it's not going to be good and then it turns out to be good, that could be the thing that makes the market run tomorrow. And I think they're pricing a lot of things into the market right now is what I think they're doing. All the stuff that's due to come out tomorrow, they're pricing it in right now.
Either way, whatever, no matter what the news is, no matter what the Supreme Court says, it's going to be a huge day, one direction or the other.
I completely agree with you. All right, so let's put in the amount of time that we have today. Today is 1/8, and we have 14 minutes right now. Okay, and we'll get in there trade. This is back on 19. That's a 7. That's a 9. That's a 9. Let me find my DOMs. And to do stuff here during the break. All right, so here we are. Looking for opportunities. And we don't have any yet. Everything's in the red. Everything needs to pull back. The gold needs to go down before it pulls back. The NQ needs to go down before it pulls back. I think the NQ is going to flip to YBR. The YM and the ES are the only things that could possibly give us a trade without going down first right now. And that's because these other ones need to complete the cycle. Right. So the YM went, the trigger went up on a down close, which doesn't help. And so we're going to have a big flat spot. You see how it went flat on the up close, but it's not in the overbought. It's resisting. The ES is pretty close to a trade here. The NQ I thought was going to flip to YBR. I still think it's going to flip to YBR. They all could flip to YBR right here. So we'll just have to give it a second. Let it do what it's going to do. All right, well, that just messed all the trades up. It just reset the midpoint on the ES and the YM. We finally gone full cycle on the gold, so we could have a trade on gold right now. Gold is probably the closest one to a trade right now, because it's just going to have 2 up and 1 down, where the NQ is going to have 2 down, 2 up, and 1 down. There's 1 up. That just needs another up and a down on the gold. These guys need a down, 2 up, and a down. You see what I'm talking about when I say that? I'm looking out ahead at the way that the bars must close to make this thing turn into a trade. All right. Now, an up close here should get us into the overbought. It won't be at the midpoint when it does, though. This is about to flip the YBR. An up close here. We'll put this in the overbought probably, but it won't be at the midpoint. All right. And both of these need to get the full cycle done, so they need to close down to get into the oversold, and close up twice to get into the overbought, then close down once to go onto the overbought. So I don't know, none of them seem to be giving anything right now. The gold is pretty close. I'm going to flip to YBR here on the NQ. And you know, when I said I think I'm going to flip the YBR, it was down here. If only I could say that and be right every single time. All right, so the gold is just going sideways. We're in a little bit of chop here. So this trend line that I just drew a minute ago, you can see where we're going with that, right? So 25,700 is where it should get up to right now. 25,700. When it pulls back, that should be a good target number for you. Okay, and these two here are just about to flip to YBR. All right, we're almost flipping it here. We don't have a trade there. We don't have a trade there. We don't have a trade here. There's just no trades anywhere right now. 9 minutes left. So 5 minutes trading. And still no trades. All right, we need a down close over there on gold. Gold is at the midpoint now. It just needs a down close. It's got a high of 0.6, so you'll have a low of 0.6. I mean, you sell 0.6. It needs a down close. Gold is the closest thing to a trade right now with a down close. The NQ just got further away from a trade by coming out. They oversold nowhere near the midpoint. It just reset the midpoint. And there's the gold. It actually gapped a little bit. Whoa, it gapped a little bit. Sorry, I just expanded my DOM. It's at +1 right now. We're going to go to +5. Try and go to +5. There we go. Go to +5 on that. And we're out with 5 on the gold. So my mouse just stopped working for a second. Do it again. +5 on the gold. I'll go put that in the sheet here in a second. Here we are. The NQ is going to flip the YBR again, it looks like. It didn't make it up to 25,700 though. Let's go put it in here. Our one trade that we took so far. Gold. Bet. Paste. There. I want to put up there. And just copy all of let's stick it down here. So I can look down here without having to scroll up and see all that stuff. All right. The gold did not have another trade here. It could have another trade right now if we get a down close on it right now. Okay. Gold, the down close right now would be another trade. Now you see the last one didn't put in a lower swing. So this one here has a little more risk. It did give you the down close and it turned immediately. And now it's going down. And well, I wanted to show you the whole thing, but I can't show you there. I think I can show you in my sheet though. I got one tick on that. I'll show you. Is because my stop goes to break even plus a tick after 5 ticks in profit. And there it is right there. So one more tick on the gold. And this was not a trade, so this is not a trade. Nothing here. Nothing. Let's just add one more in here. That's a 6. It becomes a 2. Okay. And this we got carried. All right, so we went full cycle here on the NQ. Now we need a down close, probably 2 down closes with an up close to get a trade on the NQ. You see the YM has flipped. And gold just flipped the YVR. So looking for long trades on gold, looking for long trades on the YM, and long trades on the NQ. The NQ needs a down close followed by an up close. Gold's probably going to need 2 down closes followed by an up close. All right, so we got an up close on the NQ. It went down. So it's kind of odd the way it's coming together here. It's turning into some weird chop. The gold is pretty close right now. On the gold, we're in the oversold. We just need to hit the midpoint and bounce up. So it could happen on this bar on the gold right now. Okay, get an up close on this bar right now on the gold would be a trade. Okay, the NQ got the down close, but didn't get into the oversold. The gold could still be a trade right now, but now it's getting further away. What's the low of this? 0.5, yeah, and up close at 5 would be a trade on the gold. Okay. No, that's gone down too far on the gold. I'm going to disqualify that one. Cancel. And the YM is almost in a place for a trade. All right, it needs a down close, which would give us a flat spot, I think, on the midpoint, and then an up close off the midpoint. The ES needs an up close and then an immediate down close. The NQ didn't give us anything there. Okay, that's what we have. So we're pretty close here on the ES right now. All right, the NQ is not going to give us anything, I don't think. The only thing that's really close to giving us a trade right now is the ES. That needs an up close on this bar and an immediate down close on the bar right after. Gold is starting to get there again, though. Gold flipped the YVR again. There's the up close we needed on the ES. Now we just need a down close, 62.75 down to 60.75 on the ES. So it looks like. Okay. The ES could be going up to hit the YBR right now. That's what I was saying earlier. If only I could tell you every time that that's going to happen. I think it's going to go down from here. I don't think it's going to go. But what I think doesn't really matter. That's what the indicators tell us. Because they're looking at a lot more than I am. We have and there it is on the ES. Oops, my order wasn't in the right place. We haven't closed yet. Well, this is not a valid trade here on the ES that I'm in. If we get the down close right now, then it'll be okay. How did I get that order in the wrong place? The high is at 250, so I should have been selling 50 instead of 75. Well, I still think it's going to go down. The gold didn't finish the cycle down, so it doesn't matter what happens right here on the gold. And we're about to wrap this up anyway. All right, well, it is 13:30. So we don't have trades anywhere else that are triggering right now. We just have this one on the ES. So I'm going to slide this off to the side since that wasn't a valid trade anyway. I do think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go down to 58.25. It's about to get to the point where it would have triggered. There it is. Now it would have triggered. Now it's a valid trade. Okay, and I think it's going to go down to 58.25 down here. It's actually got a number below that at 58. But let's really play out. It should get down at a minimum. It should get down to 58. Okay, and the stop just went to break even on it. So we'll lock in 2, and we're out with 2 more. And that's how we're going to end it. All right, so let me go here, and that was the ES, right? ES number of ticks. See, it's down here. That was 2, and this is a 3. So we had 3 trades. All of them were profitable, and we ended up with $850 a contract. So $85 with 1 contract, or $850 with 10. This now becomes $25, I believe. Right? Well, I gotta do something. I did this with the other one. Let me just insert 1 column left. Okay, and this column, this is a 1. And this equals this plus 1. Oops, this should be a number, not a date. Hang on. I'll figure this out. Just leave it like that for now. Then if we copy this, and we copy it all the way down here. I'm doing this in the wrong place. Well, I'll do it anyway. Okay, and we'll take that one. And we'll do it here where I meant to do it. Make that a 1. And paste that there. And then copy it all the way down here. Okay, so this should be a 26. Not a 24. It should be a 26. All right, so that's where we stand. Good. We were 3 trades today. Right, 3 trades today, all of them profitable, no stop outs. We made 6 ticks on the gold and 2 ticks on the ES, put us at $850 with 10 contracts, or $85 with 1 contract in the session. So in the 26 sessions that we've been keeping track of, actually, we can't keep track of 26. We started on the wrong one right here. It's 25 sessions. 25 sessions. Let's make that a 1. There it is. Okay, 25 sessions. That is 0. The 25 sessions that we've done in here, we've averaged $137.60. So that's more than the goal for the day in the small amount of time that we have to trade in this period. We're at $3,440 with 1 contract over 26 sessions. That's like a month's worth of trading right there. A month's worth of days. You usually have about 20 business days in a month. So it's about a month's worth of trading, but only 15 minutes a day, averaging probably. So 3.5 hours. It's not too bad. I'll figure out what I was trying to do with these numbers again later. But that's it. Now, the morning session, we finished up with $1,397 a contract. All right. And that's it. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. There's no credit card required. Click on the purple button, bring it to the registration page. Just fill it out. Just fill it out. Once you fill it out, we'll have all the information we need to get you with your indicators indicating on your desktop at the start of your trial. All right, and that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready. Sorry, I ran over a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. Okey-doke. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took, go back here, 15 minutes and 10 trades to get to $1,050 with 10 contracts, or $105 with 1. But yes.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, we have covered all of the markets in entirety in granular fashion. If you missed any part of today's broadcast, as soon as I sign off, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN, and you'll be able to see today's broadcast in its entirety. And right here, price has got resistance overhead at the 50% fib extension, sitting on top of support, climbing. Right below that, there's potential support at the step line. Now, just a few minutes ago, we had a doji. We're almost at the high of the session. Dropped a little. See it more clear on the third. We did tag that weekly zone at 69.71/72. Now, retracement. We already had a retracement after we hit resistance. We went back to support at the C and the pull. So now we got the black step line and blue and climbing directly above price. So that's potential resistance. That, and we got potential resistance here at 69.67. And if we clear that, say straight shot right zone, and that right there is the high of the session. So there you have it. Again, to become a member, email Valerie support@cfrn.net. Let her know you want to become a member, and she'll send you all the information you need to get signed up. You get 2 hours of live training every trading day. On top of that, private one-on-one mentoring. Strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, ETFs. It doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all. Support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over. Again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. Read the chart. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Trading zones. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. And you're able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you email today, support@cfrn.net, in the next couple hours, she will get you an invitation to join us for tonight's members-only workshop. And last but not least, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. All right, let's wrap it up with a good word for today. One day, fully understand. 1 Corinthians 13:12. Now I know only a part. Then I will know as God has known. When Corrie ten Boom traveled the world sharing her experiences, she would often speak with her head down. She appeared to be reading notes. She was actually stitching a needlepoint design. When she would finish telling her story of atrocities she suffered from the Nazis, she would reveal the needlepoint she was working on. She would first show the backside, which was just a tangle of colored threads with distinct pattern. And she would say, "That's how we see our lives. Sometimes it makes no sense." Then she would flip the needlepoint over to unveil the finished side. And she would say, "This is how God views your life. Someday we will have the privilege of seeing it from His Then she would end her talk with this poem written by Grant Colfax, a minister. My life is but a weaving between my Lord and me. I cannot choose the colors. He worketh steadily. Ofttimes he weaveth sorrow, and I, in foolish pride, yet he sees the upper, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent and the shuttles cease to fly, God unroll the canvas and explain the reason why. Dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he planned. Now we see a dim reflection, as if we were looking into a mirror. Then we shall see clearly. Now I know only a part. Then I will know fully, as God has known. And that's our good word. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you, His mercy, His grace. I'll see you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.